What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to continue talking about GameStop and AMC, more specifically what to expect tomorrow as FINRA is reporting the actual short interest. We know there's been crazy speculations of what the short interest actually is, and lately, especially today, I am actually starting to question myself on whether this reporting will be accurate or not. We're going to go over a situation that happened a few years ago by a broker-dealer where the reporting was not accurate and exactly what happened, so stick around. You're not going to want to miss this. Guys, before we get into this video and before I lose you really quickly, I just want to say anybody that is leaving a comment with my name and picture down below that does not have a check mark or is not highlighted next to it, okay, that's asking for Manager Thompson or WhatsApp or trying to get you to go somewhere else, it is not me. I'm the only one that has access and control over my portfolio. And like I said, my name will come up highlighted. Secondly, guys, I also wanted to talk about, I've gotten a lot of people reaching out to me asking if I have a Discord channel, if I have a Patreon and so forth. I do not want to go with the flow of what everybody else is doing. However, if I did create something that was a monthly based private group, I wanted to actually be able to provide value for this, guys. So I literally have come up with, I don't know, it's probably about 20, 25 potential topics that would be more or less videos, introduction videos about these exact topics. If this is something that you guys might be interested in, it would be a very, very, very low cost entry level that pretty much everybody can afford to formulate a good community that I could do outside of running my own marketing business to be able to kind of help you guys out and actually provide information that's not just about the next stock that's going to go up, the stock that's going to go up 1,000%, but know how to, really get some basic knowledge about the fundamentals and mechanics of investing. Leave a comment down below, let me know, and I will get that started very quickly for you. Okay, guys. So let's focus on the first article of today. I kind of like this. This was a little bit, it seemed like in our way, it was released this morning. Why GameStop won't stop as short squeeze continues indefinitely. It says right here, the bad news for the short sellers is that most of the WSB gang are not looking for a profit. Well, nothing more of that rings true than now, because most people that are holding shares like myself, which is just AMC, are currently at a loss. Okay, so we're not doing this for the big, huge profit at this point. We're at a loss. Yes, we're looking to recoup some of our losses, which is natural. Obviously, money plays a factor into it, but I thought that was some really good, good news. This article goes on to explain exactly what the shorts are doing, what the plays are, and I want to highlight this a little bit at the end. Outside investors who do not understand WSB will criticize them as speculators seeking gains, and because that is not the case, the short sellers ought to get very worried. Okay, it talks about a hedge fund, Melvin Capital. They lost 53% last month. The media reported that the fund, which did not live up to its name of hedging, closed its GameStop short position. If true, which means just the writing if true means that there's a speculation that it might not be true. Okay, the firm could have realized the maximum loss. If they had waited a few more days, it could have recovered the stock in the low $50 range. This is what leads me to believe that these shorts are not covered, because the data that we find is so skewed. Just my own personal belief, and knowing that when a stock, I've talked about this in the video, guys, when a stock skyrockets up like this, these shorts are not getting paranoid like we as retail investors, like, oh my God, sell, sell, sell. And how many times does that happen? And then before you know it, you're like, gosh, I sold at the highest point and it came back down. Well, these hedge funds know how the game is played. Okay, so that's another reason why I do not believe that these shares have all been sold. Okay. This was another article that came out. It's another big AMC investor prepares stock sale, shares tumble. Another major AMC Entertainment Holdings investor, has at least signaled a willingness to sell its stake, sending shares of the biggest movie theater operator tumbling on Monday. On Friday, it said in its securities filing that Wanda America converted its Class B shares to Class A, which permits the sale of the common stock. It is not known whether those shares have actually taken place. AMC did not respond to a request. We know that Silver Lake, their firm had liquidated their shares to recoup some of the debt that AMC had with them. However, this one, it says Wanda America, which is a unit of the China's Dalian Wanda Group, which has been among AMC's biggest shareholders, had 58.8% of voting stock, or 51 million Class B shares, which is pretty crazy, guys. But this might lead to believe two different foods for thought, right? So you might have thinking, okay, they know that the position is going to go up and that as soon as it goes up a little bit, they're going to, be ready to sell. Or however, this is a late news and, the securities filing have already issued and these shares have already been released. But it gives me at least a little bit of, optimism that they're getting prepared for when it, to sell when the stock eventually rises, guys. So I want to also highlight this. This was a interview that this gentleman Max Mayer did with Ihor Dusanuski. Sorry, I butchered his name. We know he's a managing director at S3 Partners. In it, basically, you can look over this, guys. It's an hour long. It was a long time, but it says, regarding the AMC short, we've seen shorts losing steam for a long time, and this is a short squeeze in the making. The major portion of the outstanding shorts have not been covered. This was said February 5th, guys. This was live. Okay, so we're going to get to see what exactly happens tomorrow. We talked about this in my last videos. Okay, the February 9th is the reporting date for the actual short interest. We've seen anywhere from percentages down in the 20s, 30s, all the way up to 226 with GME, I think was the highest short interest. But so let's take a look at this, guys. I also want to highlight this chart. If you guys haven't used this, is barchart.com. If you look right here, it says AMC. It gives the options volume. Earlier in the day, guys, I was busy. I had a couple client fires that I had to put out, so I wasn't able to jump on and make a video. But I wanted to highlight this because the volume was much higher. It was number 2 at the time, okay? And now you're seeing, like I said, these other big name stocks have kind of pushed up. If you haven't used this before, it's barchart.com. This is also going to kind of give you some incentive on what might be other good plays to have. If you look at ExxonMobil, is a 93% call position. That might just, really be a good indication that these stocks are set to grow. I know some of you guys have mentioned Sundial Growers, SNDL, which is huge. Look at Nokia. It was at 92% when I checked earlier, but it's still above 90%. BlackBerry's on here with a high call percentage, indicating that, there's most of the option volume is indicating that it's going to go up. Is this another, 100% true or, verifiable, guys? This is just another catalyst to be able to use. Ford Motor Company as well, getting into the EV market. So, lastly, guys, like I said, it's February 9th. It's this date. I want to bring up what I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, guys. This article is almost 6 years old, but it's FINRA fines Morgan Stanley $2 million for short selling violations. Let me harp on that, guys. $2 million, okay? As we have seen so much, speculation and quote unquote short ladder attacks and, the trend lines and then the charts of both AMC and GameStop are exactly identical, okay? And how there's so much market manipulation, and in the end, the only thing that we know is that we don't really know 100% of what's going on. We don't, and that's the only way to be able to be, honest, open, and transparent with ourselves, okay? But I will highlight this, guys. There was an issue, okay? Wall Street's industry-funded watchdog said it had fined Morgan Stanley $2 million for violations of short interest reporting and short sale rules for more than 6 years. All this says to me, guys, is that, oh God, we're getting into a point to where, if the shorts and the hedge funds know, okay, that there's going to be a ton of buying pressure, okay, not necessarily a short squeeze. Let's kind of not talk about that for a minute, but a ton of buying pressure. If that percentage is still insanely high, risking that now the bottom would, let's say, raise from $6 on, AMC to potentially $10, $12, they might try to fudge these numbers, okay? And if they are hundreds of millions or billions of dollars behind, they would rather pay a $2 million violation, okay? And we've talked about this before, guys. That's why they're potentially spending so much money on interest and having covered their shorts. And so that does come into play and potentially what might happen tomorrow. I'm hoping that there's been so much more light brought to the situation with, the Robinhood restrictions and just everything that's gone on, that there would be a little bit more, eyes on the scope. Okay, like I said, it looks like Morgan Stanley got away with this for, what was this, more than 6 years. So, it kind of goes up in the air, but it's good to have in the back of your mind. Depending on where the price goes, especially where that number is it's really going to tell you. So, let's look at the chart. Lastly, guys, AMC was down almost 10% for the day. It's even down 11 cents after hour. I do want to point out to you guys that I'm going to switch over to the 1 month chart, that today's volume of 126 million was the lowest since the big spike. Okay, even a couple days before, guys, since the 21st. It was the lowest volume of the 21st. So pay attention to that, guys. Like I said, tomorrow at 4 p.m. is when the FINRA filing comes out. So I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to, kind of be on the edge of my seat waiting for it. I don't have a guess of where my percentage is. Okay. It's kind of like I'm all over the place. And then again, what's the threshold to where if it's below that, I'm not going to believe it. So we'll see what happens. Pay attention close to the stock, guys. Like I said in my last video, I expect if either one of those percentages for GameStop or AMC AMC is higher, that there's more interest, you could expect the buying pressure. These, you know, everybody that was in one point is going to jump right back in. So that's pretty much it for about these stocks, guys. If you are interested in jumping onto a platform that would be a private community where we get to, you know, choose stocks, pick stocks together. If you're sick of being in other discords that are just, you know, massacred by individuals making thousands of messages every single, you know, hour that you can't even sort through the information, then let me know. Leave a comment down below, and I would also include a whole section that literally has to do with, I called it Stock Investing 202, where it has some basics about the, you know, about the market and stock investing, but it goes through a little bit deeper, you know, when to buy, price action, you know, following trend lines, technical analysis, and so forth. So leave a comment down below if that would interest you. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.